Hello and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel, for the first new signing of the 24-25 season video. The club did confirm yesterday the return of Jonathan Bond. We did do a video with Bondy, I think last May, so make sure to check that out. But we're discussing a new signing today, and luckily we've got the perfect guest to be discussing our new man. So I'd like to introduce Conor McEvoy. How's it going, Conor? You well?
I'm good, Charlie. How are you? I'm glad to be on.
Glad to have you, Matt. Do you mind telling us a bit about you and what you do?
So I run the Twitter page called Republic of Ireland Player Tracker. I've just under 30,000 followers on it. Well, basically, it's just tracking Irish players all over the globe, playing in the UK, abroad, further afield. Yeah, it's just about boosting Irish players and putting a name out there for myself as well while I'm at it.
Yeah, plenty of time while the Euros is on for you boys. You don't have to worry about that.
You wait and see. You watch a couple of years.
I thought I'd get that in. Conor gave me a bit of a jab about England before we started, so I thought I'd drop that in about Ireland and international tournaments. But obviously we'll be supporting our new boy. But Conor, before we talk about our new signing or the imminent signing, as an outsider, what do you know about Watford? And I don't know if you've had any feelings about our club, good or bad.
Well, firstly, you're a massive club in that sense. I'll always look, because I'm a Man United fan, so I always look very happily when I think of that game. Do you remember when Liverpool went unbeaten for ages and ages, and you beat them 3-0 at Vicarage Road? I enjoyed that now. And you've had some players like De La Feu I love watching over the years. I'll always like Richarlison. I have a soft spot for him for the amount he winds up Liverpool and Man City fans. So yeah, massive club.
Yeah, and we've had some good wins over United over the years. So hopefully,
going back into his own goal.
Hopefully I haven't pissed you off too much for this video, but we'll get cracking. Before we start talking about our new imminent signing, Jacob's been busy in Germany as well. He's probably worked about 25 days in a row, so he's going to need some sleep. But me, Jacob and Sam, we've been planning some exciting content for the upcoming year. So make sure you subscribe, drop us a follow, and yeah, like this video if you enjoy it. And also we're going to put all of Conor's links into the description, so make sure you drop him a follow. I'm sure we've got some Irish fans as well who are going to be interested. So yeah, leave a like on the video, drop us a comment, and we'll be doing a lot more of these, hopefully, if we're signing more players in the summer. Right, let's talk about our new signing, Rocco Vata. Have I pronounced that right, Conor?
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah.
Good. Normally I butcher names as we go along, but yeah, Conor, start by telling us a bit about Rocco. What's his background, his upbringing, and how he kind of went on to join Celtic?
I think it's a pretty simple one for Rocco. His dad, Rudy, is an Albanian football legend, a Celtic legend as well. Played for them for years. So Rocco obviously was born in Glasgow. His mother is from Glasgow as well, but she has Irish background. That's where them links come from. So I think it's pretty much that from the day he started kicking the ball, he was all Celtic, and Celtic was his life, and joined Celtic as a young boy and has been there until a couple of days ago, basically.
Nice. And so is it a surprise that he's playing for Ireland? Obviously, with did his dad play for Albania?
Yeah. It is a surprise if you're an outsider looking in, but then if you look at his father's relationship with the Albanian FA is not the greatest from what I can see. So I think until that's rectified, he'd have no interest in even speaking to them about playing for them. I don't think that he's ever had that much link of playing with Scottish. I think it's because his heritage, and he has a grandparent from Montenegro as well. So it's all his roots are non-Scottish, if you get me. But I know Ireland approached him at under 15 level about coming in and playing with Ireland, and he accepted it and never hasn't looked back since. So like, he's in that environment, he loves it, he's developing in that environment. I think he doesn't see the need to switch.
Yeah, really, really interesting kind of family heritage. Dad Albanian, grandmother Irish, obviously born in Scotland, and yeah, Montenegro as well, where he was born. So really interesting. We'll talk a bit about his time and game time playing for Ireland in the youth level a bit later on. But am I right in saying there's also quite a big link between kind of Ireland and Celtic? Isn't there quite a lot of Irish fans who support Celtic?
It's a big Irish thing for Irish people to support Celtic, and it's a big Celtic thing to be proud of their Irish heritage. So it kind of just goes hand in hand that if you're Irish and you play for Celtic, you get that extra bit of love.
Nice. And could you tell us a bit about his development throughout kind of the age phases playing for Celtic up until where he is now?
Yeah, well, I probably became I first got like a hold of what Rocco was really like when he was playing for Ireland at under, probably it was 17 level, because 15, 16s, you don't really know what a footballer, they can come into one camp and they'll never come back again. But then he came in and he played in the 17s in the qualifiers, and himself and Kevin Zeffy were the two wingers on that team, and they both looked different class. Like when they were playing against all other clubs or countries in Europe, you could see that they have that real special abilities on. So that's when I first got involved with listening to what he was all about. And then he was with Celtic, obviously, and I went to Celtic B team, which plays in the Lowland League in Scotland. So he's been in men's football ever since I think he's been 17, and he's developing at a very fast rate. I think that's why he's left Celtic, because he's ready to play first team football at a high level.
After kind of what we spoke about in terms of his background and his dad and coming through Celtic, do you think it's been quite a difficult decision for him? Obviously, he's an ambitious lad and wants to play first team football, but it seems like Celtic's his club.
Yeah, it is. Celtic is his. I'd say Celtic is probably his life. He knows nothing else other than being at Celtic. So, I think it's been a tough decision for him, but I think it's the right one for him. He needs to look at his future and his not just club career, international career. How's the fastest way he can develop? So, I think it's one that he had to make, and I think he'll be glad of it in years to come.
Was he not getting necessarily too much of an opportunity within the first team at Celtic?
No, for example, he played for Celtic. He came on for Celtic in the Scottish Cup last season. I think it was March time, just before international break. He came on, scored a goal very well, impressed all Celtic fans. But Celtic fans were already aware of him at this stage because of how he impressed and reports of how talented he was. And the Celtic wingers at the time were very, let's say, they weren't of highest standard, and it was just always, why not give him a chance, as you know, with young lads. But he just wasn't getting the chance. And then he went on international break after scored a hat-trick for Ireland under 21s, came back. I think he played 3 minutes in one game, and that's all he played for the rest of the season. So I think he had to move for the benefit of his career.
Brendan Rodgers, obviously a previous Watford manager. Just wanted to talk about the deal. Adam Leventhal from The Athletic, obviously, we've had him on the channel many a times, but he reported 30th of June, when was that, last week, Celtic and Ireland under 21 midfielder Rocco Vata is in advanced talks regarding a move to Watford. The 19-year-old is set to join the Championship club on a free transfer after failing to agree a new deal with Celtic. The Scottish Premiership champions would be due compensation in the region of £250,000. Talks are at an advanced stage, and final details on a 4-year contract to be discussed. That was last week, and I think the latest we had this morning, the latest we had yesterday, was from Fabrizio Romano, who said Watford have agreed the deal to sign Rocco Vata. I don't know how much you know the deal, and I don't know, did Celtic offer him a contract?
Yeah, they did. He did. Yeah, first of all, he had his medical today at Watford anyway, so I don't know if it'd be nice at this stage, this time of night. Maybe it might be in the next hour or so, but if it doesn't, I'd say it'll be tomorrow, early tomorrow. But yeah, he was offered a deal with Celtic. He'd like, I think there was a sense of him probably wanted to stay because his boyhood club and be there. I think that's why he's probably dragged out to the first couple of days of July. But I think he wanted, if he was going to stay at Celtic, he wanted assurances that he'd be playing. And I think with Celtic, you never know, even if you're giving them assurances, that you'll be at that level. But yeah, I know Celtic offered a contract to him. Actually, they wanted to. I heard that Brendan Rodgers wanted to switch them as a number 9, which he'd never played to before. So I think that maybe scared him a little bit, because going to a position you're not naturally at, and even when you watch as a fan, you'd wonder, as good as a finisher as he is, he's not really a number 9. So yeah, he had an offer from Celtic. He had an offer from many clubs all over Europe, particularly in Italy. But I think it was between Watford and Celtic, and not just, it wasn't a, I've seen some people say on Twitter that they offered him Watford to give him 25k a week. That's complete waffle. I think what I've heard, he's probably on close to just under half that.
But did he have any other interest at all?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, there was plenty of Italian teams actually. Even going back last summer, he wanted to leave, and Forest offered money for him, but Celtic weren't going to let him go. And then he had Como in Italy, and he had multiple other Italian teams that wanted him. But I think his want was really to stay in the UK. But yeah, it was just basically, it came down to Watford and Celtic in the end. He kind of didn't really want to go to Italy.
Why would you want to go to Lake Como when you can go to Hertfordshire? He seems like a smart kid. I actually saw, when I did a tiny bit before that, Everton were looking at him. I saw there was a report in March. So yeah, I mean, we've spoken a lot about his background, and I'm hoping people are waiting, and we've kind of consciously done it. But now we really want to learn about the player and what kind of player he is. So yeah, give us a bit of a description. What kind of player is he? Kind of what position? What can we expect as Watford fans?
With Rocco, it's a strange one. It's hard. You can't really pinpoint one position that he's the strongest at. He's mainly used as a winger, as maybe a right side winger more than anything. But I look at him and I think probably his best position is probably a number 10, because his dribbling is his biggest asset, but it kind of goes under the radar how smart of a footballer he is and how tenacious he is as a player. He picks out some lovely passes, and he's a brilliant finisher. So he has everything you want to be a top player, and hopefully Watford's a platform. But it's hard to say really one position, but he's, in my eyes, he's either a right-sided midfielder / winger or a number 10.
Interesting. I wanted to talk about that because our manager Tom Cleverley has said quite early about the shape that he wants to play. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But is there any elite players or any players that you think would be a good comparison that Watford fans can kind of expect to get a glimpse of his style from?
It's funny because I actually asked someone there when you said it to me earlier about a player like Rocco, and it's hard to pinpoint one player. In my eyes, he has a bit of I don't think like footballer wise, he's a bit of Sancho is a more of a creative style of winger that's not just looking to cut inside and shoot, more of a creative style of winger. So I think he's a very creative type of winger. It's hard to pinpoint because he has a very unique way he shifts the ball with his body. He uses his body very well. Shows very nice dummies, but I don't think there's one player you can particularly can stand out. But I think he has a bit of Sancho about him, that he's not a greedy winger. He's a very creative style.
Obviously, Jadon Sancho coming through the Watford Academy, so another link there. I saw someone say online he was similar to Sunderland's Jack Clarke.
You can see it in the sense that they're shifty. They use their body very well to beat men, but I don't know because Jack Clarke's very left-sided winger, cut in, shoot the whole time. I think Rocco's more of a creative style of winger. I know Rocco does score goals. He's a brilliant finisher, but I think he's more than just a brilliant individual.
Nice. Wicked. You mentioned a few there, but what do you think are his maybe biggest strengths?
Obviously his dribbling. The way he uses his body, I think he uses his body brilliantly. Just shifts to one side and then beats the defender going the other way. His passing, his football, he's a brilliant football brain, and his finishing as well. But I think his biggest thing that's probably overlooked is his tenacity. He's a very tenacious footballer. Something
that fans get excited about if someone's putting in tackles as well as having a bit of flair. So can't wait to watch him. And do you know of any weaknesses that you think he might have to his game, or something that he could improve on?
I think that maybe he's just he doesn't use his left foot that often. When I watch him play, he'd be on his right foot, and instead of use his left, he'd just use the outside of his right all the time. But I think that's really it that I see in Rocco's weaknesses wise.
everyone likes an outside of the boot shot or
Yeah.
pass. It just looks a lot better, doesn't it? Yeah, we talked. You mentioned his kind of favoured position. So Tom Cleverley's come out really early in pre-season and kind of said he wants to play a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-1-2. I personally think it will be 3-4-2-1 because we've got a lot more creative infielders and our strikers aren't as good. Do you think that would be suited to Rocco to play as maybe one of the 2 10s, or do you think you'd be best suited wider?
No, I think that could be brilliant. That could be the best system to get the best out of Rocco. Tom Cleverley obviously knows more than us, but I think that would suit him very well in a 2 10s that can probably his freedom to go wherever he wants, drift wide, come inside. So yeah, I think that would suit him well.
Nice. And it's a bit of a vague question, but how good is he right now? And do you think he can break into the Watford first team? Do you think he might need a year or two to adapt? And obviously the Championship is quite a physical, demanding, fast league. How good is he, and do you think he can make an impact this season, or do you think it might take him a bit of time?
I actually think if he was still at Celtic, he'd be making a big impact at Celtic if he was given the chance. So I think that he could easily come into Watford and start straight away or play plenty of minutes. But even if he doesn't start straight away, I don't think it's a big deal because it's a 46-game season and he will get his chance throughout the season if he doesn't get it. So I think he's a very, very talented footballer, and Watford have got themselves a gem in their hands.
Yeah, that's kind of our model, trying to buy in the young talent and potentially sell them on. He's still only 19.
Yeah.
How high is his ceiling? Do you kind of see him going on to maybe playing in the Premier League? And I'd be interested to know from an Irish perspective, kind of you get like your Evan Ferguson's and even Troy Parrott, who had an amazing season last campaign. Do you see him as breaking in to the Ireland senior team?
Yeah, I do. I see himself. I see himself breaking in, and hopefully over this course of this season. But maybe not this. If it's not this season, hopefully the under-21s will qualify for the Euros for the first time. We have a very, very, very strong under-21 squad that has an ex-Watford man, Bosun Lawal, in it. God knows how he's ever let him go in the squad. So I think that even if he doesn't break into the Irish first team this season, it'll be 2 years or so.
Yeah, he's a player who I think he won Player of the Year in our academy, and for one reason or another, I think he didn't want a new contract and he went to Celtic.
I remember Roy Deeney interview saying he'd watch him play, and he was saying, watch him, saying this boy's the real deal, saying he reminded him of Decore when he was watching him. He did an interview actually last week, and I seen he was not too pleased about the contract for the time. He thought he'd get offered a lot earlier than what it was, and he kind of made him maybe think about switching to Celtic.
A shame. Was he at Fleetwood last season, smashing it?
Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. He's a personal favourite myself. He's different class. Went to Celtic, played as a centre back, went to Fleetwood last season, played there as centre back first couple of months. Charlie Adam came in, switched him back to centre mid, and he looked the real deal. He's a proper player that excites me.
Yeah, I see. Saw a couple of bangers. So there'll probably be another Watford player that we see go on to do great things. Finally, really, just tell us a bit about Rocco in terms of what he's done in the Ireland setup. I think he's played through quite a few of the age groups, and is it the under-21s? You mentioned he scored a hat-trick. How important has he been to that team you mentioned?
Yeah, he's been brilliant, to be fair, at under-21 level. He's a top goal scorer in the squad at the moment. He scored all his goals against San Marino, but they still count. He scored a hat-trick in one game and 2 in the other, but he's playing in a good squad, and to be top goal scorer in that squad shows how talented he is. But yeah, he's played all the way up 19s, 17s, 15s. Never looked out of place. Always looked one of the main men every time he came into a squad. Like, he was brought into the under-21s before, just after he finished in the 19s, and it was when he looked people probably thought there was players playing first team football elsewhere in League One clubs, and etc. And they were like, why maybe Rocco's not ready yet? And then he came in, scored 2 goals against San Marino, and you could see why they've pushed him through the pathway a bit quicker than some others. So yeah, he's been brilliant for Ireland underage level. He looks a real star.
Wicked. It's exciting. Conor, before you go, I haven't briefed you on this, so I'm putting you on the spot, but give us a bit of a prediction for Rocco this season at Watford, whether it's how many goals he scores or minutes he'll play. What do you think his first season at Watford will look like?
That's a tough question now, but one thing I know for certain, he'll definitely become a fan favourite. He's a type of player, he'll get you off your seat, and probably might frustrate a couple of times. Maybe he might, just with youth, a bit of inexperience, but I think he'll become a fan favourite. Goals wise, assist wise, maybe, I don't know, maybe 5-6 goals maybe, but that's just me just guessing off the top of my head. But hopefully he's more than just goals. He'll provide assists, he'll get fans excited. I think that's the main thing he'll do. You'll see a player this season that you can look at and be like, he's a real star, and even if we don't get promoted to the Premier League in the next couple of years, he's a player we can make a lot of money on and reinvest that into the squad.
I think that's a brilliant answer. That's what the kind of all fans want to hear, someone who's going to put everything in it. And yeah, I think after hearing about it today is exactly the kind of business that I think we need to be doing. We haven't got any money anymore. The Premier League money's all run out, so we needed to be creative. It looks like we've been going for him for a while. It looks like he fits into the system. And yeah, those characteristics of the tenacity and that type of player is exciting me. So thank you so much, Conor, and kind of teaching me a bit more about him. Tell us a bit about what you got going on. Give us another plug about the Irish channels you got, and where people can find you and follow you.
You can find me on Rep Tracker on Twitter. Also my personal account, Conor McEvoy, if you want to look at that. I do a bit of video content with the Lansdowne Roar website, particularly on match days with pre-match and post-match shows at the Viva Stadium or abroad coming this November and September and October. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me anywhere. You'll probably see me anywhere if you look hard enough. But yeah, just thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on.
No, thank you for coming. We'll put all of your links in the description. Make sure, I know we've got loads of Irish fans, Irish Watford fans, so give Conor a follow. And if you're not Irish, give him a follow anyway. And hopefully we'll be picking some more Irish gems, and we'll get you back on, and maybe we'll get you back on towards the end of the season so you can react to your prediction for Rocco.
Hopefully it's been a good prediction.
Top man. Thank you, Conor. Appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who was watching. That was our first signings video of the 24-25 season. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more where that came from. So if you liked it, drop us a like, leave a comment, and of course, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. We'll be back soon. I don't know when, but we'll be back soon talking all things Watford.